Hey guys, the big news over the weekend was a massive supply cut from OPEC and Russia and what that will do to inflation. Oil jumped $7 on the news, and the announcement cuts a total of 1.6 million barrels. Now, about a third of that was Russia, cutting about 500,000 through the end of the year. Saudi pitched in for another 500,000 cut, Iraq 211, Kuwait 128, United Arab Emirates 144, Algeria 48. There was something for everybody. Now, what makes this interesting is Biden's been draining the strategic petroleum reserve, which was originally intended as an emergency buffer to oil supply cutoffs. That reserve is now down by about half since he took office, from 638 million barrels to 371. That's the lowest since 1983. And it's down to about 18 days worth of oil. You have Chinese takeout in the fridge that will last longer. So why did his handlers do this? Because they strangled domestic production while pumping inflation, and they had to keep oil prices low enough to get through the midterm elections. Flooding reserves into the market does that, for a moment at least. Now here's where today's cuts come in. So the White House had said it would stop the drawdowns right after the elections. Yes, DC is that cynical. And then they would go on to refill it as prices got low. This promise to refill was essentially a price floor on oil, and it reassured the Saudis that they could keep pumping despite a slowing world economy. Right? Slower economies use less oil, and so oil prices often go down. Now, 2 weeks ago, the White House flipped, and they broke that promise. They decided to keep draining. Why did they do that? Perhaps to please the green activists. Perhaps they no longer fear crises, given a lapdog media, and given how good the last crisis was for them. So according to the Financial Times, this flip is exactly what set Saudi off. And they led OPEC Plus to do exactly what you'd expect. They cut a deal to cut production to put their own floor on oil prices. So this is very bad timing. A perfect storm, you might say, after the White House just spent 3 years strangling domestic production. That includes blocking pipelines for cheap oil from Canada and North Dakota, blocking exploration on 16 million acres of land, and even threatening oil companies with bankruptcy and their executives with jail, which is not ideal for eliciting new investment in production. In raw materials, that strangle knocked production down by about a third compared to the Trump-era trend. That's about 4 million barrels. For scale, Saudi only produces 9 million barrels. So what's next for regular Americans? Higher prices for gasoline, heating, fuel, really for everything, since energy goes into everything, goes into factories, delivery trucks, electricity bills at the grocery store. And what's next for the dollar? So this is further erosion in reserve currency status, because Saudi's move just confirmed the Petrodollar security for dollars deal is unraveling before our eyes. Okay, we'll be watching. See you next time.